I'm back. Well, fancy that. Here we go again. What have I got today, Tony? Well, I've got this absolutely fabulous Telecaster body. Yeah, super light. It's a quilt maple top. If you notice, there's a few things funny about it. Well, you can see it's got the regular Telecaster pickup here, the hole that is. But these two, well, that one shouldn't be there, should it? And this one here, well, it's sort of grown in size. I think it's a bit exciting. Yeah. Now then, what we got around the back? Yeah. It's a sort of see-through blue, if you can see that. Maybe we've got a camera on there somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, it's see-through blue, and it's a rear root. So we've got the sort of holes at the back and all the stuff that we can cram in there and fill out. I've also got a sort of thinned out bit there. Sort of goes thin on this side so you can get up to the top of the neck and that sort of stuff. What else? There's only two holes. A sort of go and a squealing to a sort of mumble, if you know what I mean. The tone control. I don't use them much, so I just thought I'd put one on this one. Yeah, what a fantastic body. And it's so light. I reckon it's about £3 in weight, that is. Now, of course, moving on from this fine feckle of the body, we got this fine feckle of the neck. Now, I've already fitted the tuners on the back, and if you need to know how to do them, well, the best thing to go is to go to here, yeah, somewhere there, where I've got this sort of section with about 15 different builds, and I'll show you how to fit these Fender type, and they've got the two little holes in there, and those little holes can be a bit of a pain to get straight, but as you can see, I've had a bit of practice. But if you go and have a look at those videos, it will show you exactly what to do or how to get to that position with your Fender neck, or compatible, and we'll come back to that. Indeed we will. We'll come back to it now, because this isn't actually a Fender neck. Well, there's something funny about it. For starters, look at the colour of it. And there's no finish on the thing. That's good too. Yeah, this is one of those roasted maple necks. I don't know if you can see that down there, what that looks like. Yeah, roasted maple. I was going to have some roasted peanuts with it, but I don't need them. This just looks awesome, man. And the thing is, it's a Warmoth neck. And I always swore I'd never buy another one. Well, darn, I've done it again. I bought another Warmoth neck. But the great thing about a Warmoth neck, right off the bat, is it's Fender authorized. It says Fender on the neck. See that? So I put Fender on the front as well, because I'm like that. I'll put Fender on the back too. I'm like that. But that's another story. And if you want to see how to do all that sort of stuff, go and look at the other videos. You're not going to see it in this one. But there are a few real niceties when it comes back to this neck. It's one of them compound radius things, which means it's something there and it's something different here. That's what it means. It's got gold frets. I like that too. Goes with the gold. How does it look? I could make a necklace out of this, I think. Yeah, it goes with the gold at the top. And this sort of dark brown or medium brown maple neck, everything just looks, well, perfect. I hate to say it, but it really does look perfect. That's one thing I'm going to do on this that's different than the others that I've sort of used. Well, not used, but assembled or built, or call it what you will. And that is that this one's going to have one of those Fender roller nuts installed here. Now this one's already been prepped by Warmoth. Nice. I don't want to be messing around like some luthier for every year that I live. Yeah, I want a good result too, so I decided to do it this way. It's been prepped, but I'll show you how we fit that a bit later in the video. So that's the basic concept. Yeah. Now we'll be getting close up and personal with this a bit later, but what we're going to do, I think, initially is we're going to do a bit of work on this body. with its get the pickups in there and get this this bridge on, which I've got, and then we can look at the controls and things like that. Got a bit of work to do before that, as always, and that is to take these pickup holes and put some copper tape in there. I'll put some copper tape in this, and then we can get on with the build. It's all looking good. Now, if there's any of you guys that saw the Fender Strat build that had a very similar finish to this one, very similar, in fact it's nearly the same finish, I'm making this one as a sort of sister guitar. Well, it could be a brother guitar, but I'll go with the sister this time. I can't say that. Okay, I did say it. It's a sister guitar. Yeah, so it's a partner, and I'll have both of them up here in the video at the end, or somewhere near the end, just so you can compare them yourself and see what a finish these two look like. I think they look absolutely awesome. This one's a bit out of the ordinary, as I said, so let's get down to it. I'm going to put some copper tape in here. Once again, if you really want to see how to do that, you need to go look at those others like I showed you. I'll probably have a little thing that will pop up on the screen so you can click that and go and have a look at them and maybe come back to this one. Who knows? So let's get the copper tape. Hold on. And here it is. It's nothing special about that. You just go on Fleabay and buy a roll. Actually, I've got 2 rolls, and this is the sort that can conduct the sort of electricity through the glue, so when you stick one on another it works. That's all good. That's what you need. Anyway, I'm going to go and do it, and I'll show you in a minute. It's got to be a quicker build, this one has. I don't want to be at it for months. Hold on. Okay, well now here's a quick shot of the front bit. Got all the copper in there, all very nice. Make sure you just have a little bit just sticking over, just enough to reach that plate that we're going to fit on. Now it's round to the back. I'm going to go and do that. Hold on. Well, I'm back. That didn't take long. In fact, it took about 10 minutes. That's all it is. And you end up with something that looks a bit like that. It doesn't have to be, you know, hyper anything, as long as it overlaps everywhere. That's the main idea of this thing. And don't forget to clean your holes out where the wires have got to go through. And the same on the front. We've got all the holes cleared out. Oh, and by the way, out of 1 3/4 rolls, I've got about 3 turns left on this second one to do all that. Not bad, eh? Cheap. Indeed. Now, some people do ask me, hey Tony, why'd you go to all this trouble of, you know, putting all this copper on and all the rest of it? Well, it's my little way of trying to keep all that, all them spurious signals that float around in the air and all the rest of it. Sort of radio waves, to keep them out of in here. And I think it helps. Some people think it doesn't, but it would, wouldn't they? So it's my answer to the problem. You do what you want. You don't have to do that. But I think it's good. It's certainly better than the paint. Yeah, that doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work for me. Well, so what's next? Well, it's all simple. We just blast everything in there, don't we? No, we don't. What you need is some of this masking tape. And what you do is you get your masking tape and you sort of mask around in there. And you mask around in these little holes at the front, just to stop it so that it's not going to short out on anything. You don't have to be hyper with it, but you do need a bit on just to stop the wires from touching anything. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the other thing we need to do is to cover the back plate with this this stuff as well. I'll give it a good seal off. Yeah. Let's take a look. So all I've done is just stick a few little pieces in there. I have done some before that are really neat and all the rest, but I find it doesn't make much difference. Nobody's ever going to see it for a very long time, but hopefully, unless you hate those pickups. But, I usually select them before I fit them, and then you don't have to worry, do you? Anyway, there it is, in there. Back's been done, perfectly adequate for what we need. And we're going to move on to the next bit. Now then, talk about pickups just for a second or two. pickups I've chosen are these type. The ones with the, see if I can get this out. The ones with the rails on. Now I've gone for the DiMarzios, and this Telecaster one, it's a bit of a driven thing, like me I guess. It's a chopper Tele bridge DP384W, just in case you didn't know. Yeah, there's one. And the other two I've got is a DP188W, which is a Pro Track. It says white, but they're actually cream now. And a DP181, probably a W. I've ripped it off. That's a fast track one, so that's getting in the middle, and the Pro Track will be going here. So you go Pro Track, fast track, chopper. Yeah, I'm not even going to say anything about that. So there they are, and they're all these blade type. So they're all basically humbuckers. I mean, it's not going to be a wimp of a guitar. It's going to be one that's going to crank it out, man. But then again, you could put a little switch in. We've got enough room up here because I only had 2 holes blasted in. Where we could put a little switch in and switch between thin pickups and fat pickups. I'll stick with the fat ones, I think. Yeah. Now then, as well as the fat pickups, you need the fat knobs. And I do have 3. So I could fit one if I want to. Yeah. These are Bournes, B-O-U-R-N-E-S, I think they say. This one's week 43 of 2014. It's been sitting around a bit. 43-14 and 43-14. So in 50 years' time, they'll come and look at this guitar and they'll say, oh, this was made in 2014. And of course, they'd be wrong, wouldn't they? At least a year or so out. But there they are. I opted for the Bournes ones, and this one says, as the other two do, that it's a 500K. Now you'll be using a 500K on anything that looks remotely like one of these, a humbucker. Yeah. So 500K for these. If you're using the thin, flimsy pickups, you know, the standard ones, then you want 250K, generally. Let's put them back. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit the pickups and get all that out of the way first. It's a bit awkward more than difficult. And I have some little rings that fit round these two, and the bridge will fit on here. So we'll be fitting the bridge once we've fitted those 2 pickups and we're ready with this one. Yeah. So let's go and fit these 2 to those little brass plates. That looks good. These are gold ones, by the way, but you can get them in chrome or nickel. Some crap metal as well. Don't buy the cheap ones. You've been warned. Just before we do get underway, they come from all parts and they're extremely overpriced. Ridiculous money for what they are. 2 of them. And the bridge. We'll have a look at the bridge. It's a sort of Telecaster style, but a bit better. Fully adjustable. Yeah, I like these. Much better. And it's real, you know, it's got to be 1/8 of an inch thick brass. Well, gilded brass, that is. Yeah, it's all going to look nice. It's all go on. So I'm going to get down to this and I'll see you in a bit. Hold on. Now when you're going to fit one of these rings around one of these, like so, one of the problems you're going to get is these small holes here that hold the pickup in place. Actually, they're too small. So what you need to do is to drill those just marginally bigger. Drill the killer, and what you do, just blast it through, and it's all going to be good. Yeah, I'm going to go do that now on these 2, so we haven't got the problems when I show you. But bear that in mind. So you need to do that. So here we go. I fitted the 2 screws. They're pretty tight in there, but they're okay. We've got the small springs we need. Notice the board I sweated. And we fit them on there. And you want the wire going down on this side, like so. Want to get these places and things in the right places. What I like to do is to get one going first. I can hear a phone going off in the background. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. So we get them started, both of them. It's going to be good to go. You can see there they are through the back. That's one down. Not sure these screws are long enough, and maybe I'll change them. We'll see later. That's the first one. I'm going to go and do the second one now. Okay, well here's a quick view of the finished pickups in the surrounds. One of the things you have to do, like I said earlier, is you have to drill these holes slightly bigger if you're using Fender screws, which I do, because I wanted the gold ones. That's the net result. The screws are only just long enough. That is until they fitted. So I'm going to be moving on to other things now. Just hold on. The other thing you'll notice I have done is I fitted a bit of copper tape just over the body, and it goes down into the cavity. But it doesn't matter whether it touches this other copper tape inside. What does matter is I've got this black wire that I've pushed through into the cavity behind. And what we're going to do is solder that to that piece of copper tape just there, like so. You can see that. So it'll end up being just soldered on, just touched on. And that's so that we can give this plate here some grounding. And as you can see, there it is soldered onto the piece of copper. That wire goes down into the body now. So fix that later. Okay, well the next thing I want to do is to fit the pickups in here. All we got to do is run the wires through, and then slip these in, and then we'll fit the screw holes afterwards. I'll show you how to do that. So I'm just going to run the wires in for now. Okay, well as you can see they're all sitting in there loosely. We can sort of move them around and position them. Obviously these two screws here, and there's two in the middle, will hold this thing in place. So that's not too difficult. We've got to just slacken these off for a couple in the middle and fit the screws in there. I have them all waiting to go. There they are. In fact, that's what I'm going to go now. I'm going to screw these four in first because, well, there's no adjustments on it. You just go straight in the body on this one. One of the reasons why I get them pre-drilled. It makes it easy, doesn't it? Now, well, you can't see too much in there. The fact is, there's one of the screws, and then we've got the other spread across. You do have to take these out one at a time, or two at a time in the middle, so you can fit the other screws well and tight. But you can see, pretty solid. We've still got these two to do. This is one of them just down here. There it is, movable, and so is the one next to it. So I'm going to go and do that, and if you want to see how to really do it, check one of my other videos. But anyway, I'm going to do that now on these two. There they are, in all their glory. And I'll be back in a moment. I mean, let's face it, as long as you drill them, you're okay. Level them up as you need them. Make sure they are level. And then two little holes and two screws. Away you go. And well, there you go. 4 screws, 4 down the bridge, and it's all rock and roll. So let's flip it over and take a look what else we got to do. Well, as you can see, I have the Pro Track, Fast Track, and the chopper, which isn't marked, but there it is. I also have that earth wire that comes in from under the bridge. It'll come in here. So I think the next thing we'll do is we'll fit the 2 pots and the switch and get cracking on that. Now they aren't rocket science either. The 2 pots I have are both Bournes 500k, like I showed you before. I'm going to fit one like that and one like that inside. Whoops, one like that and one like that, if you can see. And I'm going to fit the switch down in there. When you take a look at these two, You can notice they're only just through, and this is on a rear rooted body, remember. Yours might come through further if you've got the other types. There's loads of them. But that's the little tip for me. Don't over tighten them. And the other thing you don't want to do is to fit these two washers underneath, because if you do that, there's not enough thread to actually get these nuts on. There were flat washers with the nuts, and I used those on the top and nothing underneath. That's fine. Now what I'm going to do next is fit one of these. This is a standard Stratocaster one. It's going to go down in there, probably this way round because it's a bit easier. Yeah, I think so. It's all good. I'm going to go screw that in, and when you're doing that, just make sure that the holes in the body are capable of taking these screws. Now, I've used longer ones because it is a rear root body, but just ensure that you get your drill through there first if there's any jiggery pokery going on, right? And then you won't have any trouble. Here's a quick shot of what you should see from above. It all works nice. And we'll take a look underneath. And there it is, nicely installed on my guitar. Of course there's more to do. What we've got to do is start getting this wiring done, that sort of thing. I'm just going to stuff the two caps on the top, and then we'll carry on from there. That's what it looks like when we've got the volume knobs and tone knob in place, and the little switch. It's just like a Strat, isn't it? Sort of. And yes, they were genuine Fender. Let's carry on down that route. Now when it comes down to capacitors that you can use for in here, there are millions of types around, and some guys will swear by one type, others will swear at them. And you can have them typically between a 0.22 or a 0.47. Well, I opted to get one of these. It's an all parts one. I don't like all parts too much because it's so expensive, but the parts themselves are fine for the most part. If you get the part about that part. Crazy. Anyway, this one's 0.47, and it says here Del Ritmo oiled paper cap or capacitor. So that'll be getting fitted presently. I'm back. Well, so good so far. It's all looking pretty good. Take a look yourself. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, some of you might be asking me why I've got no third knob there. Yeah, two tones and a volume, so to speak. Well, first of all, I rarely use the tones. I've got one on there, but that's about it. And to be honest, I'd never use it. So that's gone. Now the other thing is the volume. Now I could put that volume further up, or further across, or further down there, or wherever. But I'm leaving it where I wanted it, there, which is where the second tone would be on a Strat. Now there's a very good reason for that, and the reason is, often when I play, particularly on Stratocasters, I'm playing down here, I'm knocking this thing here, up and down, and the volume of the guitar does this. Now some people have said, oh, you want one of those tighter volume pots, you know, that'll stop it. But I don't think it would. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to leave the volume pot exactly where it is there, because it's out of the way. It's perfect for what I need. May not be what you want, but anyway, for where I'm at right now, that's absolutely the dogs. So we got the pickups on. I like them DiMarzios. I've used these before on another Strat. Well, very similar ones anyway. Fast Track and Pro Track I used before, but I haven't used this chopper one before, so that should all be very interesting. And I think when we get going with this one, it's going to sound great. Well, what am I going to do next? Well, before we go and do the electronics, I'm just going to fit the neck. Now, you know how to fit a neck, and if you don't, go and check my my other videos where I show you how to do all that, and how to get the screws right if you've got different things on your neck and all sorts of stuff. I'm not going to spend all day on this one because really I'm not that bothered. I just want to get on with it. So I'm going to fit the neck and I'll let you have a look after. Sounds like a plan. Hold on. Actually, I will show you one thing. when you take a neck and you want to fit it, don't just take it at the end and slide it this way. You're supposed to fit it into there and slide it downwards. You get that? That's the only clue, right? Okay, well there you have it. Neck plate fitted. And this is a real Fender limited edition, custom shop, USA neck plate. They cost the earth. We don't want to make a real Fender, don't we? Well, it's as real as we're going to get. One could argue it is real and one could argue it isn't. And just so you get a real idea of what the plate's about. So I guess it's all beginning to look pretty cool. Yeah, roasted maple. Yeah, you get the idea, don't you? It's all gonna be rock and roll. Now, onto the back with the wiring. Now, just before we do get down to actually doing the down and dirty stuff, that sounds good. Well, who can't solder? Come on, hold your hands up. You need to be able to solder, and that's a fact. There's no shortcut here. You've got all these wires dangling around, and you're going to need a diagram too, so hop on over to Seymour Duncan or DiMarzio. Seymour Duncan has better ones, I have to say. But take your pick, go and download the diagram you need, and then you can get your soldering iron out. If you can't solder, get a bit of wire and get practicing. Solder them together and all that sort of stuff. Make sure you've got decent solder as well, you know. And then you can come back and do what I'm going to do now. Okay, well, here we go. I've connected all three of these sort of in a bunch, and used a tie wrap there. I've also named each one of these. This is a fast track, that's a chopper, and the other one's a pro track. So we know which is coming from where. It's going to be important a bit later. And also, as you can see, I've sort of cut them all back to about there. Got the two pots down here. And of course the switch over here. Okay, so I'm just going to feed these back, peel them off now, so we've got bare wires, and we'll go from there, and I'll explain the differences between the colours on this and on the diagram. Here's the diagram from Seymour Duncan, but these are DiMarzio pickups, so you knew things would be wrong, didn't you? The only problem is when you get to DiMarzio, these blacks are red, the greens are green, but these two over here are black and white rather than red and white. So it's not rocket science, it's all pretty easy. We just choose the right colours we want. They have them set up as 250 pots, I have them as 500s, makes no difference really. Well, it does make a difference, but to me in a better way, slightly louder and slightly more toppy you usually find. They're using a 4.7 capacitor down there. Well, we've got a different capacitor to that. And that's about it. Oh, there's another thing we could do a bit later on, but I'll talk about that later. So let's go have a look back at the wires so we can see what we've got to do next. So it's pretty clear right from the off that we want all the greens, and there's also an unshrouded wire. I want all the greens and the unshrouded wires sticking together because they are grounds. That's a good idea. So now, taking a quick look, you can see that these grounds, these bare wires, have all been stuck together and come down here, and they're all going to go basically onto this pot here, onto there. Yeah. I also want the greens getting onto there, so I'm going to cut the greens short as well and prepare them, and we're going to solder the lot onto that pot there. Okay, as you can see, I've separated out a black and white here, a black and white here, and a black and white over there. Three reds are the hot wires, which we'll come back to, and you'll notice also that I soldered that wire that we put on the bridge, and also the green and the unshielded wires all onto this pot. I'm going to join these together now and seal them off with heat seal. Okay, well, this is a black and white with the heat shrink waiting to be shrunk. It's not the black and white. and there's a third black and white. And this one here has got the 3 reds in it that we're going to run around the edge and connect up. I like to keep it so that we've got a bit of, you know, cleanliness going on in there. And if your soldering doesn't look always shiny like that, you might have a bit of a problem. So just take your time with that and make sure you've got something that gets this hot enough, because often the soldering irons don't. Now here's a quick shot of the guitar when it's near enough finished. What we did is we connected the 3 hot wires from the pickups on here. You might be able to see them. We linked from here to here down to this pot, put a load of grounds on, connected up the capacitor to ground, took a ground from there and ran it back to this one. We closed off all these extra wires that basically there's 3 of them, 2 down there and 1 here, that you can use for splitting coils and things like that. I didn't bother with any of that, you just turn the guitar down a bit. But also these 2 here are actually going off to the output, which is just down there. And that's about it. It's pretty simple if you want the truth, not a lot involved in it. So providing you look at the diagram, don't forget to go to Seymour Duncan and change the cable cores around and you'll be fine. That's about it for this. And I fitted the end plate where you put your wire. It looks nice and simple. Well, make sure you get it as level as you can, because actually it's straight and this is bent, so it was never going to get it absolutely perfect, but it's about as good as you could get. There you go, I got a gold one just so it looked good. And there's a quick shot of what it looks like, reasonably close up with everything fitted. The neck's on, pickups are in, controls are running, it's all good. It's all going to work, I'm sure. Back's boxed up, we've got the end cover on. Well, we're ready to start fitting strings and things. But not before we actually look at the Wilkinson nut. Okay, well let's take a look at the Wilkinson roller nut. There he is. All very nice. Now, the thing is with the Wilkinson roller nut is you have to have your neck prepared correctly for that. I had it done with Warmouth, so there was no real prep for me. There are the holes, there's the nut, slot it in, almost away you go. Well, not quite, because one of the things you have to do is you get these little tiny, what they are is like a shim, and they can sort of push in the side. Imagine the roller nut being there. These push in the side so that you can get the correct height of this in the slot. And when it is at the correct height, the distance between the strings and this fret are 18 to 20 thou. That's of an inch. That's between the top of the first fret and the bottom of the strings. The drill bit needs to be a number 51, which is a 0.067 of an inch. And you drill 0.275 to 0.300 of an inch into the nut surface, into this neck surface. Obviously if you go all the way through it won't look good, so you don't need to do that. Now for now, all I'm going to do is to fit this in here and take the small screws that it comes with and screw it in and leave it a bit loose. We'll come back to this later with the shims when I've got the strings on. Okay, well there it is, and one thing I do want to say is you need the right size screwdriver for these screws. If you don't use the right size screwdriver, you're just going to round them off, or they're going to strip, or it's this or it's that, and trust me, you don't really want to be doing that with one of these. So that's how it fits. Very simple for now. Don't forget we'll be using the shims later when we put the strings on. Now I have spoken previously about how you fit these things. It's really not that difficult. It looks difficult, but go and check my other video It'll be coming up on the screen where you can see how I fit these. It's all pretty simple, really. You just have to be a bit careful with them, you know, with the finish and things like that. Anyway, I'm going to go and fit these now, and I'll be back in a minute. And just so you can be sure, there's a quick shot after the fitting of them. Obviously needs cleaning later, but onto the strings. I did fit the strings, and this one was rather low, and this one was, well, not too bad, but just a bit low. So what I ended up with is a 5/1000 shim on this side, and a 10 and a 5 on this side, and that's brought them pretty much where I like them, actually. I did a quick measurement, and they look about right to me, but like everything else, you can adjust this as you go. All you got to do is slacken off and shims in or shims out. It's all very easy. And of course the next thing now is to get the guitar in tune and do all that intonation and stuff. Well, here I am back up the top again, and the guitar's getting pretty much finished now, really. I've got these things to fit, which are strap locks, got that to do. I've put the screws in at the back where I had just one sort of chrome screw. I've now got 4 nice shiny gold screws, and I fitted the strings and tightened them up and adjusted them, and you know, all the usual sort of stuff. But I never did any intonation on the guitar. Okay, the strings have been fitted. They've been adjusted up to tension, which is, you know, I'm setting this up to 440, which is set it to E. All nice and simple. And then what you should do is you have to look at a thing called the intonation. It's not rocket science, and it all relates to the length of the string from the nut to here. When you press the strings down up here, at the 12th fret, or you play the strings open, they should actually be the same, except an octave difference. What you'll find is when the guitar's not got its intonation set right, well, in fact, it'll be out of tune on the 12th fret when it's in tune on the 1st fret, or the open fret, should I say. Taking a nice close look at these things, saddles, you have up and down adjustments to get the height of the string from the neck fret height as you want it. And you also have these things that move backwards and forwards, and they're adjustable on this guitar with these screws on the end. Now you will notice, if you look carefully, that these first 3 are sort of angled back like that. See that? And the second 3 are sort of stepped back up a little bit, and they're also angled back like that. You can see that. Do you get it? Well, when you get a lot of these type of bridges that have got the saddles on and all the rest of it, you'll find that often that's the way they come to you set up. You've got these 3, and then these 3 sort of step up and down again. All very clever. But they're not doing that just because they like making patterns. They're doing that because when the guitar's actually got its intonation set up properly, it's going to end up looking something like that on the bridge saddles. All very nice and easy, and very helpful indeed. I went and checked this guitar from the 12th fret and open, and so what I'm going to do is to just show you the string open. Okay, pretty much where it should be. And when I actually hold the string down at the 12th fret and play that, you should have basically exactly the same thing. Simple as that. Now I have actually made quite a few guitars, as some people know. Not in the 10s or anything like that, but I've probably made, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7. And not once, on any occasion, have I ever assembled a guitar and not had to do the intonation of the guitar. On this guitar, I built it, I put the strings on, I put it into tune, and I checked the intonation. And you know what? I didn't have to change anything. Nothing. These are set exactly as well as I left them after I fitted the bridge, because I did take some of them out to fit the screws in there. But on this guitar, when I screwed them back, I just put them roughly where I thought they should be, and you can believe it or not, honestly, it's absolutely in tune. Yeah, there's only one thing left to do now, and that's to fit the strap locks, and I'm going to fit these shallow ones. I've already got the other bit that goes onto the strap, and I'm going to drill the holes, check my other videos on how to do that, and I'm going to fit them, and then we're going to be ready to rock and roll. It's all good. And a quick shot, there's one of the strap locks in position, and there's the other one, all nice and simple. So there you have it, all nice and simple. Anybody could do it, even I can do it. It's got to be easy, right? Just go and get the bits, screw them together in the right order, and you end up with a guitar that looks absolutely awesome. That's because it is absolutely awesome. This thing, no matter which way round you want to look at it, look at that, I can see the camera. No matter how you want to look at it, it's one awesome guitar, and I don't think you're going to find many guitars like this that are just sitting on a peg, at least not for the money that you can make this one for. It's all good, even down to that material that you've got on the neck there. I mean, that neck is just, it's awesome. It's absolutely fantastic. And that's what I set out to do, to make a guitar that was a sister guitar to the Blue Strat that I'd made previously, for the guys that have seen that, and for the ones that haven't. Any second now I'm going to be putting that Blue Strat on here, and you can compare the two yourselves. What about that? So there's not much left to do with this now, except to say that I'm going to be playing it at the end. Actually, that way. I'm going to be playing it at the end, a little bit. I don't know what, I don't care what, but it all sounds good. It's because it is good. It's designed to what I wanted, remember, just as yours would be designed for what you wanted. It's a Warmoth body, it's a Warmoth neck, and both of those are Fender authorized, just in case somebody wants to moan about that. I have some sort of semi-strat design here, one volume, one tone, I don't need anything else. I've got 3 humbuckers, so it's not really a Telecaster, it's just like one. And one or two other features that make this guitar stand out for me. You can go and check on www.TonyMckenzie.com if you want to go and do that. I'm going to be writing a quick review about this guitar and, you know, what I used and that sort of stuff. Nothing spectacular, but it'll be on there. And apart from that, well, that's it. You can go to the YouTube channel, but you're there now, aren't you? And have a look at the other stuff I've done. And if you want to see exactly how to make one of these, if you go and check somewhere here, basically that's a video, that's video number 1 out of 2 or 3 of how to make one of these, right the way from literally a few parts on the table, and in a very in-depth way to show you exactly everything I did, as opposed to this video that's more of a quick really introduction to how you make your own guitar. And, you know, from parts, you don't have to go and carve all this away. Now do bear in mind that these guitars are not intended to be an exact match. What they are is sisters. Yeah, they're sort of the same. You'll get the idea if you've been out with 2. Anyway, here they are. Here's the original Blue Strat that I did some while ago. I'm sure you like that one, I do. It's certainly pretty cool. Let me put that down here for a second. And of course, here's the Telecaster we just completed. So together, they make a pretty fine pair, if the truth's known. You see that? Of course, the Strat's a Strat, and the Telecaster's not. It's more like a Strat, but on steroids. So I just thought I'd show you those two together, because the intention was to make these sister guitars, and I think I did a pretty reasonable job of having something very similar there here, although this finish is slightly different than that finish. This is like a burst finish, blue burst, and that's like transparent blue, I think they call that one. So Slightly different. I could have made them the same if I wanted to be power drunk, but I don't want the two guitars to be exactly the same. This has got regular pickups and things like that. It's also got switching and all sorts of different things that that guitar doesn't have. So they're like sisters. Hope you liked them. So that's it for now. A little bit of music, maybe not. I get fed up of it these days. And see you next time.
Thank you.